The next Mario Kart game is getting closer and closer, but just because we're only a couple months away from hearing more about the game now, doesn't mean that we still don't have time to speculate on the game. If you've been keeping up with the channel, you know I've been predicting the next Mario Kart game. And after I predicted the items, I went back to the community tab and asked if you guys wanted me to cover retro tracks, nitro tracks, or other side modes next. Over 100 people voted, and it turns out you guys are most interested in me covering retro tracks. So that's what we're going to be covering today. With that being said, I'm the biggest knob on YouTube, Christendo, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like it and subscribe to the channel, so that helps me out a ton. I'm trying to reach 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and your subscription can help me get one step closer to this goal. While you're at it, if you want to talk to me and others about all things Nintendo, consider joining the Discord server. The link is down in the description. With that being said, here's my prediction for the retro tracks of Mario Kart for Nintendo Switch 2. Before we get into my predictions, let's go over the guidelines I set for myself. For this video, I'll be covering 24 tracks, as just like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, I feel there's going to be 48 total, with 24 nitro tracks and 24 retro tracks, so that means we'll have a total of 6 cups to predict. I'll also be predicting at least one track from every game of the series, including Mario Kart Tour. As much as we are dreading another Super Mario Kart track, I don't think it'd be fair to that game to not include a track from it in here, so that's why I did that. On the topic of Tour though, when I pick that game's tracks, I'll only be picking that game's nitros and not the city tracks. And just like always, these are just my picks. It's okay if you agree or disagree with me, and if there's any tracks that you want to see, make sure to let me know down in the comments. With that being said, let's get into the predictions. Starting off the retro tracks in the show cup, we got GCN Luigi Circuit. This track may have returned to Mario Kart DS, but I feel it deserves the spotlight after not returning since, and it's also one of the more interesting star courses, so I think this would be a good way to start the retro tracks. Following that, we got Wii U Thwomp Ruins, and this one is a pretty simple track, but it has a unique enough theme, so I could see it returning as a priority retro for Mario Kart 8. Following that, we got 3DS Shy Guy Bazaar, and this is another simple track that was in the Mushroom Cup of Mario Kart 7, but the vibes with this track make it feel like a good penultimate track. And finishing off the show cup, we got Wii Toad's Factory. I don't think there's gonna be a fan favorite track that ends every cup, but ending the show cup with the track that was forgotten for the Booster Course Pass would be a great first impression for the retro tracks. Moving into the Banana Cup now, we start off with Wii Mario Circuit, as every game has the obligatory Mario Circuit retro track, and I just feel that Wii's is long overdue. Moving into the next track, we got the only Super Mario Kart track with Sinest Vanilla Lake 2, and as much as this track sucks in Super Mario Kart, it's the only track theme that hasn't returned from this game, and Vanilla Lake 2 is at least interesting compared to 1. I just hope that they do bring this one back, that they give it the Bowser Castle 3 treatment, rather than it just being a flat, boring course. Moving into the next track, we got Tour Ninja Hideaway, and this track may seem chaotic due to the sharp turns and multiple paths, but honestly, this one's not too crazy. I feel if this one were to return, this would be in an earlier cup, which is why I put it here in the Banana Cup. And rounding off this cup, we got DS Luigi's Mansion. This one's a simple yet highly liked course. I feel this one would be a great end to the Banana Cup, as it has a unique atmosphere and is also a fan favorite track from Mario Kart DS. Moving on to the Bill Cup, we start off with N64 Frappe Snowland, as I feel that after a spooky track with DS Luigi's Mansion, opening the next cup with a cozy track would be a nice change of pace. Following that, we got GCN Mushroom City, and this is the only traffic retro course, and it just feels right in the third cup. It's also one of the few remaining Double Dash tracks that haven't been remade, so this game would be the perfect time for it to return. Following that, we got DS Delfina Square, and this is another DS track that hasn't appeared in a while since it wasn't in Tour, and it's also a well-liked track. Seeing that it isn't super difficult, I feel it belongs in one of the earlier cups, and while thematically it may seem similar to Mushroom City as it takes place in a town, I feel this one is visually distinct enough that there wouldn't be any overlap between the two. And rounding up this cup, we got Tour's Squeaky Queen Sprint. This was an instant fan favorite track from Mario Kart Tour. Thematically, this track is nothing we've seen before in the series up until GBA Ribbon Road was remade for Mario Kart 8, and because of its interesting theme and fun layout, I can see there being a high likelihood that this is a priority retro for Mario Kart Tour. Moving into the next cup, the Egg Cup, we start off with N64 Wario Stadium. This is the last N64 track to be remade, so I just feel it's going to appear in the game because of that. Following that, we got GBA Riverside Park, and this is a kind of forgotten Super Circuit track that was also remade in Mario Kart Tour. With the gimmick of the volcano erupting and affecting the track, I can see this one being unique enough to return. Following that, we got Tour Piranha Plant Pipeline, and this is the only Tour track that wasn't brought in the Booster Course Pass. There's just no way Nintendo wouldn't bring this one back. And to end off this cup, we got Wii U Sunshine Airport, and this is just an amazing track from Mario Kart 8 that I could see Nintendo bringing back as a priority track for the next Mario Kart game. Moving into the Leaf Cup, we start with Wii U Wild Woods. This is an interesting track from Mario Kart 8 that, while not being a fan favorite, has a unique enough theme that has you driving through a tree. I can see this returning as a priority retro, as it would offer something different from other tracks. Following that, we got 3DS Wario Shipyard, and this was one of the best tracks from Mario Kart 7, and I was honestly surprised that it wasn't in the Booster Course Pass. Seeing it return in this game would be great. Following that, we got N64 DK's Jungle Parkway, and this track hasn't appeared since Mario Kart Wii. I feel it's time for this track to make its debut in an HD Mario Kart. And finishing off the Leaf Cup, we got DS Airship Fortress, and this track was snubbed from the Booster Course Pass, so it's almost guaranteed to be in this game thanks to its iconic status alone. And for the final cup of this video, we have the Lightning Cup, and this one starts off with GCN Wario Coliseum. Much like Mushroom City, this is one of the last Double Dash tracks to be remade. I feel this game would be perfect for this track, as a larger racer amount would work perfect for this bigger track. Following that, we got Wii Dry Dry Ruins, and we need a desert track to return, as every Mario Kart game does this, and I think that Dry Dry Ruins would be a perfect one. The penultimate track for the retro tracks is 3DS Bowser's Castle, as I feel that the retro tracks will end with a Bowser's Castle and Rainbow Road track. For this pick, I chose 7s as I want to keep a nice balance in how many tracks represent each game, and since it was also on tour, I feel this one has a better chance of returning than others. And for the last track, we got GBA Rainbow Road. Since Mario Kart 7, there's been a trend in how retro Rainbow Roads are brought back. Since Mario Kart 7 had SNES and Mario Kart 8 had N64, GBA Rainbow Road is next in line, so I think if Nintendo sticks to this formula, it's definitely possible this can end off the retro tracks. And that's my prediction for all the retro tracks for Mario Kart for Nintendo Switch 2. Are you mad I didn't choose fan favorite track DS Figure 8 Circuit as the final track for the retros? Let me know my picks suck down in the comments, and while you're at it, tell me what tracks you want to see in the next Mario Kart game. As always, I don't expect to get all my predictions right, but that's the fun of predicting Mario Kart. You never know what you're gonna get. That's it for this one though, but if you want to see another video by me, there's a video on screen now where I predict all the items in the next Mario Kart game, and I think you'll enjoy it. With that being said, I'm the biggest nub on YouTube, Chris Tando signing off, and goodbye Nub Nation.